probably said this story ad infinitum though, but the one that I really haven't, I would like to hear it from you, is about this ship that you saw that came out of the water.
1966.
You want to talk just a couple minutes about that?
Sure.
And I'd like to hear just what that thing looks like. I'm very interested, personally, my forte is what these things look like, and I'm very interested in their culture and what they have to say to us or not say to us. That's, for some reason, that really interests me.
Well, I think it should be interesting to everyone if they're real. I think it'd be unbelievably eye-opening.
But this must have been amazing, because I understand the size of this craft was just
It was amazing to me because I didn't believe in UFOs, even though I was reared in an Air Force family and my father was a pilot, and I had heard the pilots talking about UFOs all my life. And when I left home, I went into the Air Force and I met sergeants who told me, after they had had quite a few glasses of booze down their gullet, they'd tell me stories about having participated in recoveries of crashed extraterrestrial alien craft, flying saucers. I didn't believe that either, because they were always drunk when they told me these stories, and I was a junior airman in the Strategic Air Command, and I knew that they liked to pull our leg all the time.
Sure.
So when I went in the Navy, I was on a submarine, USS Tyru, SS-416, and we were traversing transiting from the Portland-Seattle area to the Pearl Harbor submarine base on the surface at about 10 knots. I was the port lookout, and it was afternoon. It was a bright day, but it was a little overcast, and the sun was not out. And off the port bow, I was looking right at it. It came right up out of the water. A flying saucer, the size of an aircraft carrier, about 2.5 nautical miles away, came up right out of the water with water streaming from the air around it, not from the craft itself, but from the air around it. Went up in the air and just tumbled lazily like this, and then just went right up into the clouds and disappeared. And I was just dumbfounded. Dumbstruck is the word for it. I couldn't speak.
Spherical saucer that we tend to think of?
Yeah, it
didn't look like a Klingon warrior ship or something.
No. This was round, like a dinner plate, with a raised portion in the center.
Classic.
It looked like it had vents and windows and things. It was obviously a machine. It was pewter colored. The underneath was concave. I guess it's concave. I get confused between concave and convex. Yeah. But anyway, it went up in the center underneath, and then up over the top, and it was huge. And I reported this to the officer of the deck as I had seen something off the port bow, because I didn't want to tell him I'd seen a flying saucer. I didn't want to be the laughing stock of the boat. In a submarine, it's a close crew, and if you're an outcast, that's it. You might as well leave forever. So I told him I'd seen something off the port bow, and it disappeared. I didn't know what it was, but it was something big. Would he please help me look over that area? He started looking with his glasses, and the starboard lookout heard me tell him this, and he began to look also. And I never expected to see it again in my whole life. But either the same ship or another one just like it came down out of the clouds, tumbled again on its axis, and a hole just opened up right in the ocean, and it just went in.
So the water opened up?
Just opened up, and then the water closed behind it, and there was no splash, no nothing. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. The officer of the deck turned around to me. His name was Ensign Ball, and he just had the most unbelievable look on his face. And he just looked right at me, and he said, "This had to happen on my watch." And I knew exactly how he felt. He had to tell the captain that we had witnessed a flying saucer, and he didn't want to do that because it meant the end of his career if the captain didn't believe him. So he called the captain to the bridge, called for somebody to bring up a camera. The captain came to the bridge, the chief quartermaster behind him with a 35mm camera. And the 5 of us stood on the bridge and watched this repeat itself over and over again for about 10 minutes. Chief quartermaster taking photographs all the time. We were told not to discuss it with anyone, not even amongst ourselves, that it was classified, top secret. And we were not allowed to leave the boat when we reached Pearl, the 5 of us who had seen it. Not even the captain was allowed to go ashore until an officer from Naval Intelligence, a commander, came on board and debriefed each one of us individually in the captain's stateroom. And basically, he yelled and screamed and really threatened us with a lot of jail time, a lot of time in the brig, because he didn't like our answers. He would ask me, what did you see out there? I said, my first answer was, I think I saw a flying saucer, sir. And he hit the roof. Well, I'd been reared in a military family. My father was an officer. I had served 4 years in the Air Force, and now I'm in the Navy. When he did that, I knew that I had given the wrong answer. There's no doubt about it. And it would be futile to pursue that course. So when he asked me again, what did you see out there? I said, I didn't see anything, sir, and I'd like to get out of here as quickly as possible. And he was very pleased with that. And the captain was not only pleased, but obviously relieved. And then he made me read several different regulations and laws governing the disclosure of information that would affect the national security. I had to sign a security oath. He read me the Riot Act, told me if I ever talked about this with anyone in my whole life, if I ever disclosed what it was that I didn't see, that I could be subject to 10 years in jail, $10,000 fine, and subject to loss of all pay and allowances due or ever to become due. And that's how they keep people in the military and the government quiet. My own father, he says, I've known about this for years, son. He says, but they bought me a long time ago. He says, my retirement is your mother and I's only income. And if I can't help you. If I try to help you, we lose it. And I understood his predicament. I don't agree with what he's doing. I think he should talk, and I don't think he'll lose anything. But he's afraid of it, and he comes from a different era. He was a poor man from Oklahoma and went in the service, and they taught him how to fly and made him an officer, and he had a damn good life. But he remembers the Depression.
Shane, let me ask one question, because they're going to have to...
Yeah, I want to let him go, too. Thanks for indulging me.
But I'd like to have one question, and I'll shut this off, and if you don't want to answer it...
Well, let me just say. You want to plug a book or anything?
Yeah.
I can do that.
Okay. I have a new book out. Behold...
Well, wait a minute.
I'm on. Go ahead.
You ready?
Yep. Look
okay,
right into me.
Go ahead, and I'll just edit all that junk out. But,
yeah, you can look straight into me when you say it.
Full copy of this.
Oh, great.
Before I edit it and after I edit it.
Okay. Wonderful.
So look, when you plug your book, look straight into the camera, because it'll be going straight off the TV. Okay, go ahead.
I have a new book out, Behold a Pale Horse. It's 500 pages of extensively documented research
good stuff about that.
from the last 19 years, and includes what I saw when I was in Naval Intelligence that made me leave the service before I could have retired in disgust, literally. I've been told by experts that this is the most thoroughly documented book on these subjects that they have ever seen, and I can guarantee you that it contains more suppressed information than has ever been printed in one book in the history of human civilization. If you want to get a copy of this book, send me $20 plus $3, $23 total, to William Cooper, Post Office Box 3299, Camp Verde, Arizona 86322. That's Post Office Box 3299, Camp Verde, Arizona 86322. If you'd like to call me and talk to me, 602-567-6536. We also have tapes, and we have the Kennedy assassination tape in color, clear and crisp. You can see with your own eyes exactly who shot President Kennedy and destroyed the political will of this nation.
Well, that's fantastic. Anybody that needs any more information or wants to pass anything along, just get a hold of us at the show, and we're going to pass this information along to Mr. Cooper or send you back some information, whatever you want. Well, thank you very, very much.
Thank you for having me.
And it's a pleasure to meet you. I bumped into you the first time, as you remember, over at Beckley's thing there in Phoenix.
Right.
And I knew you were sizing me out then. I'm very thankful to our mutual friend for getting us together. And
well, Roger was the best man at my wedding. I
Yeah.
trust Roger, and he would never do me dirty.
Well, Ted and I spent about a week, 10 days with him, and he's a pretty crazy guy, and we had a lot of fun too, so I respect Roger a lot too. And thanks again. And thanks for watching.